Story recapped here. Today I'm going to explain an action, adventure, and fantasy film called Sucker Punch. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the 1960s, a girl nicknamed Babydoll receives news on her mother's death and rushes to say her final goodbyes. Babydoll has a younger sister, who at the moment shares the grief with her. On their mother's deathbed is their stepfather, who is smiling menacingly while looking at the two girls. After the funeral, the stepfather opens their mother's will, where he finds out that she has left him nothing and that all her possessions are to be given to her two daughters. This angers him, causing him to act manically, burning the will. On that stormy night, Babydoll watches over her younger sister and puts her to sleep to comfort her. Just as she leaves the room, her stepfather waits for her in the hallway, seeming to have an evil plan. Babydoll runs to her room as fast as she could and bars the door to keep him from coming in. She even scratches him out of defense, which angers him further. Realizing that inflicting physical harm on Babydoll isn't enough, he goes to his younger stepdaughter's room instead. He enters the room and starts unbuttoning his shirt. Babydoll exits through the window and re-enters through the window. She holds her stepfather at gunpoint, fires at him but misses. She shoots again, hitting his arm, but unfortunately, the bullet hits her sister. Realizing what had happened, Babydoll runs to hug her, points the gun at her stepfather again, but could not bring herself to kill him. Eventually, authorities arrive and blame the tragedy on Babydoll, and she is declared mentally unstable. After the incident, Babydoll is brought to the Lennox house to be institutionalized. Two nurses drag her out of the car and bring her inside. At the end of a dim hallway, Blue Jones, one of the asylum staff, awaits them as he makes a deal with the stepfather. He holds the keys to multiple doors of the institution and acts as the head of security. He leads them into the theater where other girls who are labeled insane are kept. The head psychiatrist, Dr. Vera Gorski, supervises the girls and utilizes the room as a place where they could socialize. As Babydoll observes the girls, the stepfather bribes Blue Jones into forging Dr. Gorski's signature to have his stepdaughter lobotomized, which will stop her from informing authorities of the true circumstances that led to her sister's death. The poor Babydoll is still speechless about how fast things in her life are changing. She observes the institution, watching the daily procedures done on her. The day of her scheduled lobotomy arrives. Out of nowhere, she wakes up in another realm where the asylum has turned into a brothel. In there, Blue becomes a mobster, while the stepfather is dressed as a priest. The star of the show, Sweet Pea, approaches the three of them to welcome Babydoll and asks her sister, Rocket, to show the newbie around the establishment. Before following Rocket for the tour, Babydoll spits at her stepfather to express her utter disgust, making him angry and delusional. Rocket is naturally friendly and assures Babydoll that she will be comfortable in no time, as it just takes a little while to get used to. She shows her a room where they bring clients and reveals that they are the main attractions to lure in customers for Blue's other businesses such as guns, gambling, medications, and the like. In the rehearsal room, she is introduced to the other dancers, Amber and Blondie. Rocket informs Babydoll that everybody gets a dance routine that they practice until they can perform it perfectly. That night, Babydoll breaks into tears in the bathroom, completely shattered about how her life is at the moment. The following day, while she scrubs the floor in the hallway, Rocket does her chore in the kitchen. While the cook is busy eating his meal, she tries to take a small block of chocolate to enjoy. Little does she know, the cook sees what she did and punishes her for it. Babydoll hears her screams and enters the kitchen, where she sees the cook pinning Rocket to the ground. Immediately, she comes to her rescue by holding the cook at knife point, who now has no choice but to let the both of them go. Both of them make it to the end of the hallway just as the bell rings, signifying that it is time for their daily rehearsals. In class, Dr. Gorski is envisioned as their dance instructor. She calls Babydoll to come to the middle for her to be examined. As Blue enters the room, Dr. Gorski plays a song. Babydoll seems clueless and unsure of what to do, so Dr. Gorski approaches her to say that she has no purpose of being in the institution if she does not dance. She plays the music again, and this time, Babydoll is willing to dance for her survival. She closes her eyes and wakes up in a fantasy world. A majestic temple in the snow stands before her, so she enters to see what is inside. With the door slightly opened, Babydoll enters and sees the wise man, surrounded by candlelights, holding a sword. He asks her what she seeks for, to which she replies, a way out. The wise man promises her that he will help her get the freedom that she desperately desires. Beside him, he opens a box with weapons that she needs for her journey and hands it to her. He then adds that she needs 5 more items that will be useful and necessary: a map, fire, a knife, and a key. The 5th thing is a mystery that she must find out on her own, which he claims is the reason and the goal of her journey. He also says that to get the item, a sacrifice would be needed in exchange for the victory. After relaying this message, the wise man makes her turn around, where she finds 3 samurai giants ready to fight her. The first samurai kicks her back into the temple, but she bravely fights back in defense. With every strike of the samurai's sword, she manages to dodge it by jumping into the air, trying her best not to get hit. Eventually, she manages to bring the giant down by striking its knees and cutting off its head. Out of nowhere, the second samurai launches a rocket, causing a big explosion inside the temple. Finding out that it didn't kill Babydoll, it brings out an enormous machine gun, recklessly shooting it everywhere. With impeccable speed, she dodges every bullet and runs toward the giant to shoot it directly in the face, causing its instant death. She then walks bravely outside to face the final samurai. It advances at her, and she gathers enough strength to kill it with just one strike. Just like that, Babydoll has defeated the three giants despite her size and amateur experience in combat. As the music for her performance ends, she wakes up in the rehearsal room, finding everyone impressed and cheering her on. Completely taken aback, Blue looks at her intently before leaving the room. For the first time in weeks, she feels a sense of accomplishment. That night, Babydoll lets the other girls know of her plan to escape from the establishment, but Sweet Pea is bitter about this idea, saying that it is impossible. Blondie enters the conversation to say that the last three girls who attempted to escape have died. Despite this, Rocket is convinced that Babydoll's plan could be effective in their escape. She and Sweet Pea get into an argument about trying to get out. Rocket then tells her older sister that Babydoll even saved her from the cook, believing intensely in her strength. Because of this, Sweet Pea takes time to contemplate giving in to their escape plan. Babydoll enters the room, writes the things they need on a small blackboard, then discusses the whereabouts of the items. The map in Blue's office, a lighter that will cause fire for when they escape, a knife from the cook, and Blue's master key that he wears around his neck. Babydoll finally convinces the four girls to participate in preparing an escape. She intends to use her dances as a distraction while the three girls obtain the necessary items. Sweet Pea volunteers to take the map and makes her way to Blue's office to inform him that Babydoll is about to dance. Excitedly, he heads to the rehearsal room for some entertainment while Sweet Pea stays behind for her mission. As Babydoll closes her eyes to begin the dance, she is back in the fantasy world where the four girls and the wise man appear as well. In this vision, they are in a World War setting where they have to obtain the map by entering the enemy trenches and infiltrating a bunker protected by German soldiers. All of them make their way through the soldiers as Amber climbs to a robotic war machine. The war resumes, bullets fill the air, and danger is just among them. The girls fight together to attack the enemies in hopes of obtaining the first item. Amber flies into the air with her machine while shooting planes that pass by to bring them down faster. With the air slightly clear, the girls mercilessly shoot at the enemies and fight them. They manage to bring German soldiers down despite being outnumbered and outgunned. Sweet Pea and Rocket near the bunker and both of them struggle to fight back even with all their skills. The enemies manage to get a hold of them. Gathering enough strength, Sweet Pea gets up to help her sister, surrounded by steampunk soldiers. The four of them reunite just outside the bunker, where a weird-looking commander holds the map. Babydoll manages to make her way inside, but the rest of them get left behind. She uses her sword to fight the guards surrounding the commander and successfully takes them down. The commander comes face to face with her, attacks, but the structure collapses, and an officer runs away with the map before Babydoll could stop him from escaping in an airship. She then uses a machine gun to shoot the airship, causing it to explode, leaving the officer to fall where she stands. She takes the map from him, but the commander comes from behind her, asking her to give the map back. Babydoll throws the map into the air, and the girls come to her rescue, crushing the commander with Amber's machine. They all escape and grab the map just as her dance ends. Extremely satisfied with her performance, Blue and Dr. Gorski talks outside to discuss Babydoll being on stage. Dr. Gorski contradicts the idea, saying that the girl is not ready. Blue reminds her of his authority, making her give in to his requests. He then goes back to his office and notices the hot photocopy machine, which means that it has been recently used. He looks at the map and finds out that someone has touched it. That night, the mayor enters the brothel, where Blue warmly welcomes him. Known for his love for cigars, the girls assign Amber to steal his lighter, as he is her regular customer. She agrees and approaches the old man to obtain the lighter. Meanwhile, the show is about to start, and Dr. Gorski introduces the newest member of her team to the attending guests. Babydoll shyly begins her dance and enters the fantasy world again, which mirrors their attempt to take the lighter from the mayor. In a plane, the wise man explains that they should drop into the courtyard of a burning castle, and kill creatures along the way. Their goal is to find a baby dragon and retrieve 2 crystals inside it while Amber pilots the plane. Before the girls descend, the wise man reminds them not to wake the mother dragon, which confuses them. As they make their way down, the girls immediately shoot at their enemies, and find the dragon's chamber hidden deep into the castle. They finally see the baby dragon lying above human carcasses. Babydoll slits its throat to get to the crystals. She lights both of them against each other, but the mother dragon comes from below the pit and blows fire at them. It notices the dead baby dragon and whimpers just before it flees to chase the girls. Ready to avenge the death of its baby, the dragon gets on top of the castle, starting to attack the girls, but Amber stops it with the plane. The dragon then shifts her attention to the aircraft, starting to chase it relentlessly, putting Amber in full responsibility while Blondie shoots at it from inside. She aims the plane into a bridge to cause the dragon to crash into it, but it only grows more aggressive. It bites into the plane, damaging the tail. As the dragon sees Babydoll in the palace grounds, it charges towards her and blows fire. She jumps into the air to prevent being burnt, then proceeds to stab the dragon in the head, finally killing it. She feels more empowered than ever, and at that instant, her performance ends, leaving the mayor impressed and clueless about his lighter. In the dressing room, the girls celebrate after Amber reveals that she was able to get it. Babydoll enters to thank her and proceeds to hide the lighter under the dresser for safekeeping. In the middle of their happy moment, Blue comes into the dressing room, sensing that something is amiss. He lets them know that he is aware of the trespassing in his office and the loss of the mayor's lighter. In a rage, he drags Blondie to threaten them that something terrible will happen if their scheme continues before leaving. Sweet Pea gets afraid of all of them and calls the plan off. According to her, Blue is way too powerful to escape from, but Rocket remains firm on continuing with the plan, causing a strain in the sisters' relationship. Back in the rehearsal room, Blondie cries while she gathers the tapes for Babydoll's performance. Torn between giving up and participating in the escape plan, she breaks down. Dr. Gorski enters the room to comfort the distressed girl. In a motherly way, she assures her that everything will be alright, and Blondie attempts to let the doctor know about their game plan. Unfortunately, Blue walks inside the room just before she spills the secret. The girls continue with their plan in the kitchen, but they all get discouraged because they're incomplete. Babydoll admits to Rocket that they should give up to prevent harm to anyone. Suddenly, Sweet Pea enters the kitchen with a change of heart, and the plan resumes. She locks the kitchen doors and lets the cook sit on a chair while Babydoll puts on another performance. In the fantasy world, they need to disarm a bomb protected by a couple dozen mechanized gunmen. Their goal is to fight the enemies, deactivate the bomb, and then steal it. A helicopter brings them to the train where the bomb is located, and Amber is the pilot. She shoots a missile for the group to have access to it. They fight the robots along the way and succeed gracefully. They are significantly outnumbered, but they manage to take every single robot down with Babydoll's lead. Sweet Pea comes for backup, leading to the group's advance, even protecting her sister in the process. In a race with time, the group deactivates the bomb with ease and proceeds to secure it with ropes to carry it with them. However, a robot gets back up and throws Rocket into a corner of the train. It activates the bomb, and the mission fails. Suddenly, Babydoll snaps out of her fantasy and wakes up in the kitchen, where the cook snaps out of hypnosis. He notices Sweet Pea taking the knife from him and is angered, realizing the girl's scheme. Just as the cook is about to stab Rocket, who intends to protect her sister, Babydoll returns to the fantasy world. Sweet Pea and Rocket are left on the train, where Rocket's jetpack is broken. She launches Sweet Pea's jetpack into the air, leaving her alone on the train as her sister watches her from the air in complete despair. After arriving at the destination, the train explodes, paralleled by the cook stabbing Rocket fatally as she tries to protect her sister. Blue storms into the kitchen to find it in complete disaster, raging about Rocket's death, who is an asset to his business. Sweet Pea is distressed by the passing of her sister, acting frantic, before Blue sends his guard to take her to the closet. That night, Babydoll's buyer, a man named High Roller, arrives at the brothel to spend a night of entertainment. Before the show, Blue enters the dressing room to sermon the girls about their behavior in the past few days. Sensing that he may get out of control, Dr. Gorski tries to stop him, but he slaps her out of his way. The angered mobster reveals to everyone that Blondie snitched on the girls and informed him about their plan. Full of guilt, Blondie cries and apologizes for what she has done out of fear, but Blue is unstoppable. He continues to confront them by flipping the blackboard that reveals their game plan, and not long after that, he shoots Amber. However, it is not enough for him, so he shoots Blondie after calling her a snitch. The distressed Dr. Gorski is sent away by Blue's guards, still mourning the death of the girls. After everyone leaves the room, Blue attempts to force himself on Babydoll. He puts her against the dresser while she desperately fights back. Luckily, she manages to get a hold of the knife and stabs Blue in the neck. It allows her to grab the master key from him after saying that he will never own her. She then makes her way to the closet to free Sweet Pea and informs her that it is just the two of them from now on. With the items complete, they start a fire to keep the orderlies busy and occupied while they seek an exit. They use the map to run through the hallways unnoticed and open the gates using Blue's key. As the fire alarms are activated, the gates are unlocked, giving them an easy passage, but a group of men blocks their way in the courtyard. Babydoll realizes that the fifth item they need is her sacrifice. Despite Sweet Pea's protest to be together, Babydoll insists on showing herself to the men, thus distracting them long enough to bid time and allow her friend to run away unnoticed. Sad about separating ways, Babydoll comes in front of the men, and one of them knocks her out. This permanently closes the fantastical realm. Back in the asylum surgery room, the surgeon has finished Babydoll's lobotomy. Dr. Gorski enters and notes that during her short stay in the institution, the girl already stabbed an orderly, started a fire, and even helped another girl escape the asylum. The surgeon is taken aback by Babydoll's expression after the procedure, and asks Dr. Gorski why she authorized the lobotomy and many identical ones before. Dr. Gorski realizes that Blue has been faking her signature, just as Babydoll is escorted outside the room. The poor Babydoll is brought to a room where Blue welcomes her and intends to force himself on her again. Suddenly, the police enter and apprehend him from doing anything to the girl. They take him away, as Babydoll sits and smiles serenely. Sweet Pea gets stopped by police at a bus station as she tries to board a bus, but the bus driver, who happens to be the wise man, rescues her by misleading the police and kindly letting her board. At last, Sweet Pea has another chance in life, leaving everything behind but the bond with her friends and sister. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.